In the race to the bottom, as all governments around the world looking to destroy currencies, the only thing they can do to try to make it appear as if they care and that they're trying to make a difference in people's lives when it comes to all those words such as financial inclusion, helping the unbanked, as well as alleviating the wealth gap. Only thing they end up doing is spending more and finding new ways to spend by making it appear as if they care. Let's talk about this. All right, I want to take a quick minute and do an RTD Quick Take, share my thoughts about an article that I could not help but bring to the forefront because it's one more government-sponsored program designed to make it appear as if this is going to be the answer. This is going to be the solution to all the problems that the central banking and the government working hand in hand and having destroyed the dollar. This is how they're going to fix that by basically finding ways to give more funds, give more programs. And of course, it's better sold to the public if it starts off at a much younger age. And so I came across an article about giving the newborn babies a savings account that over time will close the wealth gap. So here's the article I'm referring to here. Came out this morning from CNBC, and the title alone, when I read this, I had to talk about this for a quick minute and share my thoughts. But as it says, a $60 billion plan to give every American baby 1,000 at birth. You can't make this stuff up. They are trying their best to make it appear as if they can solve the problems that they are a part of creating. But let's dive through this real quickly. And so it says the racial wealth divide between white and black families in the U.S. is more of a chasm than a gap. In 2019, the median household wealth for white families was nearly $190,000, almost 8 times higher than that of black households. And so here's the solution. Baby bonds are one proposal to help close the divide. And so here we have Senator Cory Booker looking to sponsor this, and I guess this is part of his plan. But as I've always mentioned before, every single act, every piece of legislation sits in the file cabinet of the politicians, sponsored by, promoted by some type of think tank, some type of big institution that has given this to them to bring out in this current time frame as a way of helping to cover up the real problems underneath the surface, which happens to be the destruction of the dollar, as well as the pipe bursting in our current monetary system, which is the reason why they're trying to now solve all these problems that have been here all along. So Senator Cory Booker's quoted as saying, "I support this idea called baby bonds," unquote. It says, Senator Cory Booker told CNBC, Booker has proposed a baby bonds policy called the American Opportunity Accounts Act. They make these things sound so patriotic, so, for the people. Name one bill that they've brought into existence as a way of so-called solving a problem that didn't sound very enticing and very pleasant to the ears. It says the bill, if passed, would create a savings account for every child with at least 1,000 in it. And it's quoted as saying, depending on the wealth of your family, every child will get a deposit annually up to the age 18 in that account, upwards of $2,000 for the lowest income children. It says when the child turns 18, depending on the family's income, they could have nearly $50,000 in this account. Nearly $50,000 in an account. And so it looks like they are trying to set aside a new program designed to save Federal Reserve notes at the same time that they're destroying the purchasing power of these same units. And they expect the people to really believe, and of which most people will believe because they probably lack the understanding of what's really going on. But of course, if you're watching, you understand. But yet the average person. And so this bill right here, if it's not passed, if it doesn't move forward, it will be considered un-American. You don't care about the children. You don't care about, those that are starving. You don't care about giving, the poor kids from the inner city a chance to have a savings account, to have a bright future ahead of them. All those type of things they'll use to sell this. But yet here we have $50,000 possibly after their turn age 18, and then go even further, talks about it's for investing purposes. But yet once again, the question I want to put out there is, by the time we get from this current moment up into 2037 or so, what will you actually be able to purchase with a dollar? And what type of dollar will it look like? Definitely it's going to be a CBDC type of style. And more than likely, we won't have paper currency at that time. But yet, once again, given the current position we're all headed towards, if this inflation continues to really pick up steam and, as some predict, become a hyperinflation, that $50,000 might end up purchasing a loaf of bread or something of that magnitude if we reach those extreme and harsh situations, just something that they may not really be putting out there for people to consider. Then he goes on to say, Booker's American Opportunity Act, Account Act could reduce the racial wealth gap by 40%. So basically giving a handout in the form of $1,000 at the same time inflation is well beyond 10%, 11% and climbing, and purchasing power is being diminished by that same amount plus some. And the fact that there's more currency units in existence than we're even aware of. And you factor in Janet Yellen's telling the Congress that if they don't remove the debt ceiling and increase it, we run the risk of defaulting, and that would ruin all savings, all financial investments, everything around the monetary system. Okay. Plus, baby bond recipients would only be able to use the funds for the wealth building activities, including buying a home, continuing education, or starting a business. Buying a home at this current rate, yeah, okay. Continuing education, a lot of kids will find out that the current structure and the current curriculum offered in this current paradigm of education will not be existent or really useful in the days ahead. And then it says, according to analysis from Booker's office from the U.S., from the City University of New York, a baby bonds program could cost the U.S. government $60 billion to $80 billion, and that's in current dollars. And so a little bit more than food stamps, and it will not solve any of the problems that they set out to solve because it's systemic in nature. The very monetary system itself, based upon debt creation from nothing, and it's owed back with more debt on top of that, does not work. It does not end well. It never ends well. But unfortunately, a lot of people who read this might look at this as a way that, the Democratic Party, Republican Party, whoever decides to back this all the way up fully, that they're trying to help. But the best thing they could do, which they will not do, is two options. If you're going to give people funds, tell people what to put the funds into that will actually preserve purchasing power moving forward. And of course, we know what that is, real tangible things. You'd be better off probably giving those funds to somebody, allowing them to buy some form of scarce, tangible asset, whether it be land, artwork, or whatever. And so, of course, gold and silver would be ideal, or any other precious metals. Anything from the earth would definitely be of value in the long term that will hold and protect some of that purchasing power and do a lot better than actually having $1,000 per month with compound inflation actually eroding the purchasing power of that. Here we have a suggestion from the same people who are part of the problem. I thought it was very comical, so that's why I wanted to share this. What do you guys think? Will this bill pass or will it fall flat on its face? I'm curious to hear what you think. But once again, you can't make this stuff up. This is just one of many more programs that will be thrown out there as a solution to the problem without them actually telling that the problem is systemic and it's happening around the globe. So the last thing you would want to probably be in my opinion, is something that they are giving away free that has no value in and of itself other than confidence and faith, as long as they still have that. But anyway, I'm done ranting. What do you guys think? If you've enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up, share this information so people can get an alternative spin on what the mainstream story is. Because once again, we're being dumbed down and distracted, which disincentivizes people to actually think critically about articles such as this. But anyway, I'm done ranting. See you guys later.